Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order our regular city council meeting for Monday, February 6, 2023 at 7 p.m. First order of business is our opening ceremony, which will include the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members that have lost their life. If everyone would please rise. Thank you. Mr. Miller, if you call roll.
Here. Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Here.
Councilmember Karafotis. Here. Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember DeMichael.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Show Councilmember Earl absent and excused, please.
Councilmember Witt.
Here.
You do have a quorum with 6 members present, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Item 4, approval of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve the agenda for Monday, February 6th, 2023 at 7 p.m. for the regular council meeting.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Any discussion from the general public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, item 5, we have recognition. We have a couple swearing-ins or promotion, one promotion. Chief Tim Gibbons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Good night at GCPD. We continue to be a fortunate department tonight. We're swearing in our newest officer, Gage Bitzer. 2 Gages in our department. We also have a Gage Cruz. I don't know what the odds are there, but pretty cool. A little confusing, I'm sure, but Gage joins us. Again, fortunate department. We've done well in hiring. 5 years on at DPD. Assigned to the detective unit at times, there's special ops, and even a special juvenile outreach program and adult offender outreach program, which really fits into our mode of community policing. He has ties to the department, good friends in the department, so he joins welcome, both from his experience and who he is as a person. So we're very excited to have him. He's from Canton, Michigan, but he ended up graduating high school from Heartland, attended some college at Schoolcraft, and tonight his mother, Dina Utley, will be pinning his badge on and taking out any aggression she has from years of being a kid who grows up to be a cop, which we can be frustrating. So, so I'll let the clerk swear Gage in.
I, Gage Bitzer, being duly appointed empowered police officer,
as a fully empowered police officer,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will uphold and defend
that I will uphold and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Michigan,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Michigan,
the laws and ordinances of the city of Garden City,
the laws and ordinances of the city of Garden City,
and will uphold and abide
and will uphold and abide
by the rules and regulations,
and the rules and regulations,
as well as all other orders,
as well as all other orders,
be they general, specific, or otherwise,
be they general, specific, or otherwise,
of the Garden City Police Department,
of the Garden City Police Department,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
that I
that I
will not,
will not,
at any time,
at any time,
lend, aid, advise, or succor
lend, aid, advise, or succor
to any organization,
to any organization,
known or suspected,
known or suspected,
of having subversive tendencies,
of having subversive tendencies,
nor will I,
nor will I,
in any way,
in any way,
affiliate myself
affiliate myself
with such organizations.
with such organizations.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Very good. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. So you're going to sign the oath, please. All right, thank you. And then this will be yours, and your mother's going to come up and do this pinning for us, right? Right. And your mom's going to come right here. Okay?
This happens almost every time. It's so hard.
The whole family? Actually, if you want everyone in, Zach will take the picture, and then we'll be able to share that, okay? Right?
Mr. Mayor, next up is the promotion of Officer Hezekiah Streifel to the rank of sergeant. We did the math, and we have to spell Hezekiah Streifel less if we make him a sergeant. So this works out for everybody. But no, in all seriousness, has joined us in October of 2016, the first of a big wave of hiring. He's part of sort of the new band of guides.
For 2015. Check it out.
Wow. Siri is excited about your. I probably just Googled Hezekiah Streifel, which revealed no results. But no, Hez joined us in October 2016, the first of a wave of hiring. He's a Marine, which we love, hiring Marines. You know, when you need something done and you need a city protected, it's good to go with a Marine. He's a member of our firearms training unit, and we are excited. There's no secret, the sergeant actually runs GCPD. That's who, you know, when you ask, go any police department, and the sergeant is the most essential rank. I can have all kinds of ideas, lieutenants can have kind of plans, but the guys that carry it out are the sergeants and the officers who do the job, and the sergeant is key. And so I know with confidence that Hez will follow the mission of the Garden City Police Department and further us in the right direction. We're excited to have him promoted. So with that said, clerk, take it away.
You're going to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, the undersigned, Hezekiah Streifel,
I, the undersigned, Hezekiah Streifel,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
to the rank of sergeant
to the rank of sergeant
of the Garden City Police Department,
of the Garden City Police Department,
do hereby solemnly swear
do I here solemnly swear
that I will uphold and defend
that I will uphold and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Michigan,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Garden City,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Garden City,
and will uphold and abide
and will uphold and abide
by the rules and regulations,
of the rules and regulations,
as well as all other orders,
as well as all other orders,
be they general,
be they general,
specific, or otherwise,
specific, or otherwise,
of the Garden City Police Department,
of the Garden City Police Department,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
That I will not,
that I will not,
at any time,
at any time,
lend, aid, advise, or succor
lend aid, advised, or succor
to any organization,
to any organization,
known or suspected,
known or suspected,
of having subversive tendencies,
of having subversive tendencies,
nor will I,
nor will I,
in any way,
in any way,
affiliate myself
affiliate myself
with such organizations.
with such organizations.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Very good. Thank you. We'll have some paperwork.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, and then I know that your wife Victoria will be up in a moment to pin you, right? Leave that there. We'll have her come out and do the pinning, right? Thank you. Do you want to? There's a lot. Yeah. I think so.
Not related to you, to leave the rows, and you can just get into it.
No.
We'll get the other ones later.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
I said be great for people to ever.
There you go. That's good. Very good. Right.
Okay, at this time, we'll take a couple minutes recess to let those that don't want to stay for all the rest of the fun to leave. So we'll go to recess. Okay, we're back in session. Next item, comments from state and county officials, and glad to see our newly elected Wayne County Commissioner, David Kniezek, hopefully bringing us good news.
I could have swore all those people were here for me. Then they left. I'm going to pull up a couple things on my phone that I want to talk about, so just want to say on the front end, don't want you to think I'm being rude. It's great to be back. It's been 4 years since I've had the opportunity to stand in front of this council and present you an update on, at the time, the state senate and the action that was going on there. And since getting elected to the commission, started with an appointment in 2020, but since getting elected to the commission last November, picking up Garden City again, picking up Inkster again, I've had this great opportunity to go around the city, reconnect with folks, reintroduce myself to folks, and for as much as things change, there's a whole lot that stays the same. And I think here in Garden City, we keep the good things the same, and we know when we have to change or update the others. And I think just at the beginning of this meeting for me, it was a phenomenal reminder of the blessing that it is to represent this community. I've got some communities don't do a single thing for Veterans Day, period. We do something for veterans every single council meeting in this city. And so I think it just speaks really to the patriotism that we have here in the community. I think it speaks to the value that we place on public service and supporting one another. And so I know it sounds cheesy, I've said it before, but really just thrilled to be back here and working with this new mayor, this new council, some old faces, some new faces. So what I wanted to share just very quickly for this group and the folks at home, administrative cleanup first. I've got a new phone number now, obviously, with a new office, 313-224-0930. That's my county office. If you're having issues with, you name it, pick up the phone, give us a call. Our commitment to the community has been that even if it's not a county issue, if it's a state, if it's federal, if it's city, we're happy to be that clearinghouse, if you will, in getting folks to where they need to be. Email address, davidkniezek@waynecounty.com. David, Knezek, @waynecounty.com. So there's the administrative stuff. I wanted to talk about two things here today. I'm going to do the smaller, I suppose, of the two issues first, and that has to do with the county park millage. As folks know, we all pay into that county millage every single year. What folks may not know is that each county commission district receives an allocation from that millage, of which the commissioner can decide how to dole out that money. There's multiple ways to consider this. I'm not saying that any one way is right, wrong, or indifferent, but we'll just use round numbers here. This year's numbers, I suppose, $85,000 that I have to then dole out between Dearborn Heights, Garden City, and Inkster. That's not the total appropriation that you get. That's just what I get to have some control over. And so I asked for the breakdown of the numbers in previous years for these dollars. And the formula that was used, again, everybody has their own way of doing things, but in 2020, Garden City got $16,722. In 2021, you got $17,321. And in 2022, you got $18,937. This totals, I know you're doing math in your heads and at home, $52,981. That's over a 3-year period. $52,000 over a 3-year period. I want to move in the direction of a larger dollar allocation to the communities. 16,000, 17,000, that's great, but I want it to be bigger so you can be more transformative with the projects. And so what I'm going to do is go on a 3-year rolling cycle. So that instead of getting a little bit along the way, every 3 years you get the whole kit and caboodle. And so just to break that down for again, this year's numbers, if I was to do it this year, $85,000 would come to Garden City. The cycle that I'm going to use is Inkster in year 1, Garden City in year 2, Dearborn Heights in year 3. So over a 3-year period previously, you got $52,000. Over the next 3-year period, you're going to get $85,000. That would represent a 62% increase to Garden City using this new formula. So I wanted to make the council and the city manager aware of this because again, there'll be a shift here in year 1, but you'll realize it and then some in year 2 and year 3. So that was number one. If there's any questions, I'm happy to entertain any questions. You
What
know I
year?
could just talk forever.
What year are we?
You're year two. Inkster, Garden City, Dearborn Heights, and then just cycle back through. Or if I lose re-election, somebody else can pick a new formula.
Is it going to be the same dollar amount for the next 3 years per city, or is it going to change?
It's going to change every year, just as the taxable values increase, the dollar values that we have to give out increase. So you kind of saw a little bit of that in the $16,000, $17,000, $18,000 increase over the previous 3 years. This year's allocation, $85,955. I'd have to imagine next year's allocation would probably be $86,000, $87,000 that would come to Garden City,
So we'll get the full amount,
full amount. Yep.
and then the third year, which will probably, if things go the correct way, will be the highest. That'll go to Dearborn Heights.
Correct.
Okay.
I never thought of it that way. My hometown. Now, see, look, you're getting me in trouble, Michelle. Come on, Michelle. Any other questions on that new formula?
No, I think it's great because on the Parks and Rec Commission, we've sometimes held 1 year to add up to get the $33,000 or $34,000 to do a better project. So I
Right.
think this will work out a lot better for Garden City, for
Glad to
our
hear that.
residents. Thank you.
Excellent. And the next piece, and I want to be cautious here because there's an agenda item that's coming up under item 11B1 that you all are going to have to make a decision on. I wanted to, I think, supplement that conversation a little bit, and it would invite the mayor, the council, the city manager to jump in, fill in any gaps, or if I'm getting ahead of my skis or yours, please pull me back. But as you know, under the federal ARPA dollars that were distributed to the communities, communities got a direct appropriation, the county got a direct appropriation. So the county received roughly $329 million. The county could have unilaterally decided how they want to spend that money. What they did instead was looked across the communities and what individual communities were going to be investing in to see if there'd be an opportunity for the county to come in and be of support and be of assistance, just to take that financial burden off your books, put it onto ours, and be helpful where we can. And so we did what we're calling batch one at the end of 2022. This was the first round of projects. None of my communities were in that batch, so it's not like some got some didn't, none of them were. But we kept pushing on making sure that Garden City was included in this batch two. Batch two is coming up for consideration and vote at the end of February. And that plays into what I'm going to share here at the end, because there's a role and an opportunity, I think, for this council, the mayor, and the city manager to make sure that your voices are heard as a part of that conversation at the county as well. And so what we're going to be bringing up for a vote at the end of February is $4 million to send to Garden City to support the renovation and the restoration of the Radcliffe Center. Part of that, of course, is Garden City putting up their piece of the pie, if you will, and then the county coming in over and above with that to make sure that you can achieve your goals relative to the entrance, the heating and cooling, boilers, other things that, again, are for you to decide, not for me. We just want to be able to be that financial support where the community needs it as well. And so, like I said, under 11B1, you're going to be considering sort of that first step of that process, you know, the paperwork from the county coming to the city, sending it back so we can keep the process moving and have those dollars start to flow into the community. I would be remiss if I didn't give credit where credit is due. I cannot stand here and say, gosh, look at me, end of the first month, look what's happening. Not the case whatsoever. This is something that predates me, so I want to recognize Commissioner Glenn Anderson, my predecessor, for the role that he played in this process. I want to recognize our current and former mayor, Randy Walker, and Mark Jacobs, for the role that they've played in getting this across the finish line. The current and former council members, Jaylee Lynch in particular, was very engaged in making sure that this was at the forefront of the discussions at the county. And then, of course, our city manager, Doc, who's been, again, a phenomenal ally in this process as well. It starts with Executive Evans, Deputy County Executive Assad Turfy. We as the community put our arms around each other and try to get this across the finish line. And at the risk of putting the cart before the horse, it feels like the finish line is in sight for this process. So I wanted to give that brief update. I'm sure there's questions. I may or may not have answers to them, but if I don't have answers, I'm happy to follow up with the council and the administration.
I think that's great news. Thank you. We've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Mayor?
Councilmember Squires.
First of all, it's great to see representation again.
No comment.
Thank you for coming out. Yeah, thank you to everyone for working so hard, to push this through, because Garden City really needs it, really needs it. We want to better our community, and I'm sure you've taken a tour over at Radcliffe, and it's up and coming. And the children in this community are very, very fortunate, much more than my kids were when they were coming up. So thank you for all that you do.
I was at, I've toured Radcliffe twice now in the last 2 months. Got my new Garden City sweatshirt there, the most recent time. And you're right, Councilmember, that's the goal, right? The American dream, a better, higher quality of life for our loved ones and the people that come after us. So yeah, it's I think that next step in the process of building Garden City into the community that we know that it is, we know that it can be, and this is the type of facility. It's going to impact the community, of course, but this is going to be something that I think attracts people from outside of the community as well, and
Right.
showcases the type of community that we have here in Garden City.
No,
So,
I'm in full agreement
thing.
with you. More young families may move into the city. So, thank you.
sure.
Anyone else?
I just want to say welcome back.
Thank you.
Anybody? Thank you very much, Commissioner.
All set?
Thank you.
I'm glad you're back, Dave.
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. Y'all know how to find me. Again, 224-0930 for the folks that are watching at home. Don't be shy. Glad to be back and look forward to standing in front of you guys all here again very soon. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay. All right, item 7, we do have a presentation from Police Chief Tim Gibbons on some department updates.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So while I'm up here tonight, I got the uniform on. I just want to take the time to give an update on crime statistics in Garden City. We live in a world of a 24-hour news cycle, social media, and the thing about crime is you never hear about it when it's not happening. So it tends to be, we feel like we'll hear something, and sometimes on social media I'll see that the crime is reported, people will hear about it, they'll start talking about social media, and they go, oh yeah, crime's out of hand, crime's this, crime's that. But if you actually look at our statistics, we are hitting historic lows on crime across the board, both in property crime and violent crime. But it's understandable. We have a philosophy at PD. It's more than just making you safe, it's making you feel safe. Citizens of Garden City, live in a very safe community, very stable community, but it's not enough. We have to do our job to make people feel as if they're in a community that's safe, because those two go hand in hand. So I just wanted to come tonight. I've got a slideshow presentation to just kind of go through some statistics. And first, I just kind of explain how crime is measured, and it's on the next slide, how crime is measured in sort of the U.S. and Michigan. There's this thing called the FBI UCR, Uniform Crime Reporting. There's 2 categories, property crime and violent crime. There's about 8 crimes altogether. These are the crimes in which, if we're going to compare whether there's a safe city or not, quite often you'll see that on the internet, safest cities and how they measure it. They all use a little bit different formula, but all of them take into account 2 primary things, property crime and violent crime. So when we look to compare how we're doing, I tend to look back in our historicals, and I tend to see how have we done over the last so many years, and are we better than we were yesterday? And I'm proud to say that outside of the COVID year, and I don't want to use crime statistics to say that was our best year, because that's cheating when people are stuck in their houses the whole time. But in 2022, we've hit our lowest total violent and property crime together. So the farthest I could look back in our stats that compare stats similarly, I wouldn't want to use previous stats that don't account for them the same way, but our previous ones, so I can go all the way back to 1994, and we haven't had a year lower than this since 1994 and beyond. And the 90s had a little bit higher crime, so I imagine even before that we're still doing pretty good. So, I know sometimes when you hear about a major incident, especially in a world like we live now, you might say, oh wow, Garden City used to be, well, if you're really comparing the numbers and you're really looking at the context of it, this is one of the safest times to ever live in Garden City. So I break down the stats, and if we can go to the next slide. So I try to look at stats a bunch of different ways. I always try and prove that what I'm seeing is what I think I'm seeing. So I went back and I did over the last 15 years and do like a 5-year comparison. So if you look between 2008 and 2012, We had 3,596 crimes, that's property and violent crimes altogether. That was an average yearly total of 719 on average. Our population's been stable since 2008 through now, so I feel like that's a fair comparison of years. We've been around 27,000 in each of those years, sometimes 26, sometimes 28, but per 1,000 people, we had 26 crimes occur, roughly. Take it to the next year, 2013 to 2017, we had about 20 crimes per year, so we're making great progress. And if you look back over the last 5 years, 22 included, we're at 12.23 crimes per year, or per 1,000 person, per 1,000. And then the highlight years, like I said, this year, we're at 285 total of those countable crimes that everybody uses to compare each other, and we're at just a little under 11 per 1,000. So, you know, I just attribute that to the tremendous work of all my predecessors and the culture and the city of Garden City. You know, police departments aren't all that it contributes to a safe community. We're part of that. But the community support we receive and the community engagement within this to make this a safer place, these are the type of things that are the outcomes of that. And on the next slide, I keep going a little further, so I'm looking, okay, so I want to, again, I'm just like, is this a trend? And as far as property crime is concerned, we are on a downward trend across the United States. I think we exceed that, and if you see on the next slide, this is Garden Cities. That's property crime in Garden City. So if you look back all the way to 2011, we had almost 700 property crimes. We had 254 in 2022. That's
It's amazing.
amazing reduction. You know, so while I can't take full credit, we are following a downward trend of crime in property crime, at least through the United States and in Michigan, but we're exceeding that downward trend. We're on the best side of that curve. Next up is violent crime. This is Garden City's violent crime. We had a little bit of an uptick in 16, 17, and 18, and then we've come back down again. But if you look at the next slide, which is in Michigan and the United States, there's been a much larger uptick across the nation and in Michigan in violent crime. And if I look at just that last slide didn't include 2022. 2022 has actually been our lowest violent crime we've had that I can find. So I think we had a little uptick after COVID when everybody came out of their houses, but we've shot right back down and we're doing pretty good on these measurables. And on the next slide, this is just total crime again, just to illustrate the point. For the last 10 years, if we're looking at the comparison, we're just doing great. And on the next slide, I just wanted to, this is how I believe you get to ahead of the curve. You know, starting with Chief Murray, my predecessor, we started some programs that I've continued on since I've been chief, and yesterday was my 5th year anniversary of being sworn in chief. So, you know, when you hit 5 years, you start asking yourself questions like benchmarking. How am I doing? You know, have I? My 5th year, yep. Oh, I wish, yeah. I'd have been retired a long time ago, no. So, you know, I try and look what Chief Murray was doing and have I continued that good work on, and have I built on what he started? And I know recently, you know, over this last 10 years, we've prioritized community engagement and relationship building amongst the community. We're trying to involve people in their own safety and security and let them know we're available to find out what their problems are and how we can deal with them. We believe that you start with what people want you to work on, and you'll create a smarter, safer community that's more adapt to even help themselves. Second, we adopted in 13 and 14, we started data-driven approaches to crime and traffic safety. What that is we look and see where crime and crashes are, and we put officers there in highly visible patrols so you could see them. So it meets both of our boxes. One, it reduces crime. Two, it makes people feel safer. And then lastly, in 2018, when I took over as chief, one of the things I wanted with me was ordinance. We took it from DPS, we brought it over to the police department, and we've been building it. And you may say, what does ordinance have to do with crime? It's a lot. You know, if you take care of the small things, the big things either don't happen or are easy to take care of. And we're strong believers in making people have a high quality of life and a safe community, and that's a huge part of it. It's all one big thing. So can I say, you know, I can't take credit for crime going down, but what I can say is I believe in the things we're doing, and I think we heavily contribute to that. And on the next slide, you know, our philosophy isn't a heavy-handed one. Our philosophy is try and prevent crime with high visibility patrols, signage, and get code compliance out there. Then we try and educate the public with community engagement. We try and mediate disputes before they become crimes. And we believe in a good social media and a big presence in our community so that people feel like we're there. If you know the police are around, people tend to act differently. That's how we want it to be. And lastly, when we need to, we do enforce. You know, we'll have traffic officers out, we'll have ordinance officers out, we'll be writing tickets when we need to. But that's our last resort. And I think one more slide. This all comes back to a quality of life policing. It's our philosophy. You know, we believe in going a little bit outside of the norm for most police departments. We don't just respond to crimes and investigate them. We try and do the things that our community needs to stop crime from happening or lessen it, or just basically make people feel better. The reason I chose this particular graphic, I found it off the internet. I like it. It says evaluative well-being and effective well-being. So like I said, you might be safe, but if you don't feel safe, it doesn't mean much. So what we try and do is, and that's what part of my purpose is tonight, is to be out here and tell you that crime's low, lower than it has been, that I can look back to. And but that's not to say that those who get on social media and say that, you know, they're bothered by the crime in the city, we're bothered by it too, and we understand that, and we're working on it. But it's good to have full context. So try to get that as quick as I could. But as always, council, if you have any questions, anything for me or the police department, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Great news. Okay, no community events, petitions, no public hearings. Item 11, consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember DeMichael.
I move to approve the consent agenda, items A1 through A4.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Discussion from the table. From general public. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Okay, action items. Number 1, we heard part of it, Wayne County subrecipient agreement.
Mayor,
I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
I move to approve a subrecipient agreement for ARPA funds with Wayne County in the amount of $4 million, with the city to match $1 million for the reconstruction of the Radcliffe Center, subject to final approval by the city attorney.
Support.
Support from Councilmember DeMichael. Any discussion from the table? From the general public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, number 2, managerial audit, City Charter, Section 2.11B. Motion in order.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
I move to recommend to direct the city clerk to develop a request for proposal pursuant to areas for review agreed upon at the January 30, 2023 special city council meeting.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Discussion from table. From general public. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Nothing under other business. Public comment. Anybody wishing to speak? 3 minutes. Okay. Report from city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item here that should be of interest for everyone. I spent most of the day today in mediation with the library, and it appears that we have come to terms for a settlement. So the details are just being finalized, and hope to bring it back to the council a couple of weeks from now for a final deal so we could put that one behind us. So everyone seemed to work well together, going back and forth and coming up with the best deal for both groups. So hopefully all works well. Next meeting we'll have a gathering to discuss it. That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Councilmember Karafotis.
I just had a couple things. On our consent agenda, we talked about filing the Historical Commission minutes, and I just wanted to say thank you to Mike Lawrence and the other people at the museum for working so hard. They really do a great job preserving the history of Garden City, If you guys haven't been over to the museum, it's a great place to take your kids on a Saturday or Wednesday, find out about everything about Garden City over there, and they work really hard. The other thing is, I'm looking forward to our managerial audit, and I hope that we get good results back saying what a great job we're doing. And I'm looking forward to the grant for Radcliffe, but I would like to reiterate that we have a budget that council approves along with the scope that we're supposed to be doing. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Squires.
Okay, first of all, congratulations to Officer Bitzer and Sergeant Streifel on their swearing in and promotion. And also, I wanted to say I should have included you when I was talking to Mr. Kniezek. Thank you, Doc, for all the hard work that you have put in and worked so hard with the county to help make this happen. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Well, just a couple of things. Congratulations to our new police officer and also to Sergeant Streifel on his promotion. I wanted to mention real quick just a couple of events going on. Kiwanis, the Kiwanis Club of Garden City has a student club at the high schools called the Key Club. The Key Club's going to be doing their Empty Bowl banquet on 2/16. The Empty Bowl, what the Empty Bowl does, it raises funds and awareness for hunger in the community. So it's, you go in and you get a bowl. They give you soup, and there's raffles and stuff, of course, to help raise money. We also have the PTA Founders Day coming up February 22nd. And I also would like to see a more detailed budget for Radcliffe come through. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember DeMichael.
Yep, I too wanted to congratulate Officer Bitzer and newly promoted Sergeant Streifel. Also wanted to thank Doc for all of his hard work on the collaboration within Radcliffe. And even though I was out of town this weekend, I heard wonderful things about the broom ball tournament over at Jody's. So great fundraising thing that we got going on over there for Kathy. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Witt.
Just congratulations to Officer Bitzer and the promotion for Sergeant Streifel. It's awesome that we keep uplifting our officers and firefighters throughout the years. It's been great to see it. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
I just have a reminder for the community that our taxes are due on February 14th. So come on in to see us. We also will accept them at the Purple Drop Box anytime. We do check the box all the time. So we've had a line today. So as it gets closer and closer, I just don't want anybody to miss the date so they won't get charged any late fees or anything like that. So next Tuesday, bring some love to us in the form of a payment for your taxes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I have a few things. Mayor Pro Tem Dole just mentioned, wanted me to mention Meals on Wheels. We're still looking for volunteer drivers. We need a lot of help and a lot of drivers. If you're available to help, you can contact the Wayne County Senior Services at 734-326-5341 or 734-326-4401. And again, that's if you can volunteer some time for Meals on Wheels, we could use help. Congratulations to Officer Bitzer and to Sergeant Streifel on your work. You've, according to the crime stats, you got some big shoes to keep going on, but good. We can always use good help. I want to thank Kathy over at Joe D's and her staff. They did a broomstick pool tournament. I won't say broom ball this time. But they did that yesterday. It was a big success. They raised $2,105 for our home pantry. They will be, I'm going to try and get them in for the next council meeting to present a nice big check. So hopefully that'll play out. I want to thank Mr. Doherty for doing this. Money from the county has been, Doc's been working on it for about 18 months, along with council, former Mayor Walker, the former council, just like Commissioner Kniezek said. So, but Mr. Doherty did a lot of that work, preparing it and getting it ready and helping to get it through there. So I want to congratulate and thank you for that. April 12th, I am going to do my next mayor's, we're going to call it a mayor's forum. I'm not going to call it the town hall, but it'll be the mayor's forum. It's a Wednesday, and it will be 5 p.m. right here in the chambers. Basically the same format. We will have, I heard some people didn't hear about it till late, so that will be promoted on the city website probably in the next few days or so. And I'll keep announcing it. But that will be Wednesday, April 12th, 5 p.m. in Chambers. I want to remind everybody, February 25th, we have the hockey benefit, Garden City Police versus the Westland Police at the City Ice Arena. It's at 7 p.m. Mayor Landau from Westland has challenged myself to a little wager. So one of us will be buying dinner. Well, I'm expecting him to be buying some kind of food here in Garden City. But it should be a good event. It's going for a fundraiser for a wounded state police officer that was injured in the line of duty. So it'll be a free admission, donations accepted, and there will be a lot of stuff to do. Gifts, baskets, raffles, stuff like that. So it'll be a lot to do. So again, save that date. I'll announce it again at the next meeting. And having said all that, no further business. This meeting's adjourned.